Okay, let's just dive right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking the absolute core concepts of products, prototypes, and MVPs. We're drawing these insights directly from the CSE 495 IT Project Management and Entrepreneurship lecture by Pramod Chowdhury. And hey, if you're gearing up to prepare for finals and you really need to master maths and analytical questions, especially in a scenario-based question structure, you are in the exact right place.
Here's our quick roadmap for today. We'll hit product versus prototype, then levels of prototyping fidelity, move into formulating your hypothesis, tackle the minimum viable product, and finally, we'll wrap up with a real-world scenario of a grocery app.
All right, Section 1, Product versus Prototype, Understanding the Core Difference.
You know, these terms get thrown around a lot, right? But confusing them on an exam or, well, out there in the real world can be incredibly costly. I mean, it's so tempting to just jump straight into building your grand vision. You've got this amazing idea in your head and you just want to see it exist. But going all in without prototyping, that carries a massive, often fatal risk. You could literally spend months and thousands of dollars building something that absolutely nobody actually wants to use.
So the crucial point to remember here is that a product is built for sustained value. It's the complete, finished, market-ready offering designed to actually generate profit. It takes high investment, robust security, and it targets the mass market. A prototype, though, it's the exact opposite. It's the absolute cheapest, most minimal version of an idea. You aren't building it to make money. You're building it solely to deliver information to the business, validating your assumptions with just a tiny group of early adopters.
Moving on to Section 2, Levels of Prototyping Fidelity, from Sketch to Simulation.
Now, what's really fascinating about prototyping is that it absolutely isn't a one-size-fits-all process. It scales up as your confidence in the idea scales up, moving through what we call levels of fidelity. We start at the very bottom with low-fidelity prototypes. This is basically just a simple diagram. UX design teams use these low-fidelity tools super early on to quickly test basic page layouts, organize the content hierarchy, and most importantly, find the critical gaps in the user flow. The whole goal here is to quickly throw out product designs that just don't resonate without having wasted any real time.
I mean, this phase can literally be as simple as sketching on a scrap of paper or a physical whiteboard just to rapidly capture ideas. Or if you're working with a larger or hybrid team, online whiteboards work just as well. You aren't worried about colors or fancy fonts here. You are strictly worried about how the user gets from point A to point B.
Stepping it up a notch, we hit mid-fidelity. The source material brilliantly calls this the Goldilocks zone. It's not too rough, but it's not too polished either. At this level, you might add some clickable elements to test workflows and usability, but you deliberately avoid distracting your testers with extra visual content. You really want them focused on the functionality, definitely not the branding.
Finally, we reach high-fidelity prototyping. This is a highly polished simulation of your final product. It's got real visual design details, complex interactions, animations, and robust functionality. This gives a super realistic user experience for testing. You only really need this level of detail when you're ready to lock in those designs and give stakeholders the confidence to approve the project right before the actual, really expensive coding begins.
And if you look at this, it brilliantly illustrates the exact same mobile menu interface evolving through those three stages. You can clearly see the progression, right? From a rough, sketched list on the left, to a clean but plain mid-fidelity wireframe in the middle, and finally to a fully branded high-fidelity polished screen on the right. You're only adding that extra layer of detail as you gain confidence from the previous step.
So, to summarize this analytical progression, and hey, this is a fantastic framework to memorize for your finals. Your choice of fidelity is a strict trade-off between time, cost, and exactly what kind of testing goal you're trying to achieve. If you just need to test raw demand or a brand new concept, a low-fidelity survey or mock-up taking a few hours is perfect. But if you need to test actual purchase intent or really complex functionality, you have to invest the 1 to 3 months to build that high-fidelity simulation.
Okay, Section 3, Formulating your hypothesis, the engine of prototyping.
Let's look at how all this builds into the actual engine of prototyping. Because remember, a prototype without a specific question to answer is really just a drawing. You absolutely need a hypothesis. We define a hypothesis as a testable assumption about something totally critical in your business model. This is the pillar holding your whole idea up. If this assumption is proven wrong by your prototype, your entire business model will fail, or at the very least, you're going to need a massive pivot. You can actually formulate your own hypothesis super easily using this kind of Mad Lib style sentence from our source. For example, you might say, "We believe that urban professionals aged 25 to 45 will sign up for a $60 a month subscription if we provide them with the convenience of community pickup points." See, it's specific, it's measurable, and it gives your prototype a crystal clear mission.
This fantastic table connects your overarching business model canvas, or BMC, directly to your prototyping efforts. It helps you isolate exactly what you're testing. Are you testing the customer segments block to see if these are even the right people? Or maybe you're focused on revenue streams, testing price sensitivity to see if they'll actually open their wallets. Knowing exactly which block you're testing directly dictates what kind of prototype you need to build.
Section 4. The minimum viable product, starting the learning loop.
Okay. So we've covered the different types of prototypes and exactly how to formulate the hypothesis driving them. Now, let's define the ultimate real-world test of your business model, the minimum viable product. Now, an MVP is fundamentally different from a regular prototype because an MVP is an actual functional product. It's not just a mock-up. It is the smallest version of your new product that has just enough features to satisfy early adopters. Its primary goal is to test the riskiest assumptions of your business model and officially kickstart your build, measure, learn feedback loop with real customers out in the real market.
And finally, Section 5, Real-World Scenario, Grocery App.
To really cement these concepts and show you just how powerful an MVP can be, let's treat this next part as a scenario-based practice question for your finals. Okay, here's the scenario. A team of 3 friends wants to build a same-day grocery app in Dhaka, but they have a zero coding budget. How do they validate the idea? Well, here's the solution explainer. They built a purely functional MVP. They picked just one neighborhood, Don Mondi, and walked to 8 local shops to set up informal partnerships. Then they set up a single WhatsApp business number to take orders. When an order came in, one founder would physically walk to the shop, buy the items with their own cash, and deliver them via rickshaw within 2 hours, collecting the cash and a small delivery fee at the door.
Analytically speaking, they didn't need a fancy high-fidelity app. For this practice scenario, the key takeaway is their metrics. Using a simple Google Sheet, they tracked order volume, delivery times, what went wrong, and most crucially, whether those initial customers actually reordered. They ran this highly manual MVP every single day for 3 weeks, successfully testing their core value proposition with the absolute minimal effort but getting maximum learning.
That Dhaka grocery startup perfectly embodies the whole spirit of prototyping and MVPs. So as you continue to prepare for your finals, I'm going to leave you with this practice question to ponder. What is the single riskiest assumption holding your business idea back right now? And how quickly can you design a low-fidelity prototype or even a manual MVP to test it out today with the absolute least amount of effort? Good luck with your studies and get out there and start validating.